we're going to start with Michael Holmes. Hello, Michael. How are you?
I'm well. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to have you here. I want people to know that Michael Holmes is not only a fantastic entertainer, but a great singer as well. I think a lot of you out there are familiar with his show. He does the Judy Show every Sunday, and then he sings with his trio that accompanies him on Thursdays. And I'm so happy to have him here. We're going to get a lot of dirt on where he started and when he started and what he does and all of that. So, Michael, again, I'm so happy that you're here.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, why don't we start with, first of all, when did you start singing and entertaining?
Well, there's the long story and the short story. I started when I was a kid and went through high school. And in college, I was a theater major and had a vocal coach. I worked very hard. This is a story for all the kids out there who have a dream.
Good.
I worked very, very hard at 3 jobs to save money for this vocal coach who was the best in the Midwest. I'm from the Chicago area. And after a month of singing with her, she gave me back all my money and told me I would never sing.
Oh, no.
And I quit singing for 20 years. And then I was listening to, do you remember the film Sleepless in Seattle?
Oh, yeah.
And Jimmy Durante was on it. And I thought, well, he can't sing either, but he sold millions of records, so I'm going to do it anyway.
Good
and
for
as
you.
As it turns out, it's been a great career. So to answer that question, I started and I stopped, and then I started again about 9 years ago.
About 9 years ago. What did you start with first, the jazz singing or your entertaining, which we're going to get into more specifically?
I started with the entertaining it was a complete accident. So I won a contest. Well, we're not talking, when you cue me, I'll fill that in. It's a surprise.
Well, why don't we talk about it now? Because Michael is certainly a world-renowned impersonator
In Winnipeg.
In Winnipeg, right? Well, that's part of the world, and you're very famous here, and I know your shows are selling out like crazy. So, let's talk about was it the contest that got you into doing the impersonation and exactly what you do? Why don't we get into that?
Well, I was challenged. It all started with a Halloween contest and a martini.
Oh.
That's how it all started. And I was impersonating vocals of Betty Davis, and it parlayed itself into now a career completely by accident. And consequently, in the middle of that, I won a contest as an impersonator, and the owners of the club asked me if I could put together a show.
And where was that?
That was in Douglas, Michigan, Saugatuck, Douglas.
Saugatuck, Douglas, Michigan. A lot of people out there will know Saugatuck, but you are a Chicago boy, and
I am.
you didn't do any singing in Chicago before this?
No, well, only in college, up through college, and then the voice teacher destroyed
Right.
everything.
Did you go to college in Chicago? Or
I went to Northern Illinois University in
Yeah.
DeKalb, Illinois, which is west of the city.
What did you study?
Well, I was a theater major, and then I went into psychology.
Well, that's a good mix, actually.
Well, I think it was because I finally figured out what was wrong with me, and I got back into theater.
Good for you. Well, I think it also helps you to handle the audience because your audience at the Judy Show is quite a mixed audience. And I'm sure you've had a few hecklers in your time.
The most interesting one was, well, maybe we should talk about what the show is. I impersonate Judy Garland, and it's a form of a parody of her 1964 variety show. And then I play all of her guests as well.
And you dress.
I do complete costume and makeup. Yes.
And they're fantastic. You have wonderful taste.
Thank you.
I wish I could find some of those outfits, but they're really great.
Oh, thank you.
Well, let's talk about then while we are getting into this. How long does it take you to get ready? First of all, your show is how long?
Well, the show it varies from location to location, but the actual show is about an hour and 15 minutes. and then there's a little intermission in the middle. So it ends up an hour and a half.
Yeah, and you have to do all of these costume changes.
I
So, okay, you start with the makeup. How long does it take you to do the makeup?
Well, it depends on if you include shaving as part of the makeup application. But yeah, it takes about 40 minutes.
Yeah, well, this is the first time I've seen you with any stubble on your face. Normally, your face is very, very smooth, and looks very good with the makeup.
I grow a beard when I'm going to do Joan Crawford. No, I'm kidding.
I hope there's no relatives of Joan out there. So that takes a while. Okay, then you're in costume. So you come out first as Judy.
I come out first as Judy, as kind of in the format of the Judy Garland show. She
Right.
always opened her show
Yes,
and do a few numbers, and then announce who's going to be in the show.
her friends.
Yes, and then I run off stage for various reasons and come back usually within 2 minutes.
I don't know how you do it. I can't get ready in 2 minutes, and there you are. I mean, in total costume, and
I have a dresser in the back.
Well, I would
and
hope
everything
so.
is prepared in advance. and-
yeah. That's so important. But that's very impressive when you're going back and forth. I do want to mention too that people can see you if they go on your website www.thejudyshow.com, and you can see Michael in all of his glory as these different celebrities. Why don't you name a few others that you do that are friends of Judy?
Well, Carol Channing, who lives here in Rancho Mirage, who I was so thrilled to meet.
Yeah, and you are great as Carol.
Oh,
Did
thank
she
you.
think you were good?
She was, yeah. Actually,
Good.
her husband Harry thought, he's like, "Wow, you're dead on."
Yeah, I
so that
thought
was a
so.
great compliment.
Yeah,
Carol,
absolutely.
I have a Carol Channing story to tell you. I
Okay.
was talking with her, and she says to me, "You know, Michael, I was in a Carol Channing impersonation contest in San Francisco, and I came in third."
That's so like Carol, isn't it?
She's so fun.
She is fun. She is fun.
I also do Betty Davis.
Yeah, I liked your Betty. Well, I like them all.
It's fun to have the variety. Pearl Bailey, Mae West, Billie Holiday, Tallulah Bankhead, Katharine Hepburn, Peggy Lee.
You've got a lot of friends there that that you do. Yeah. Let's go back to talking about any hecklers that you
heckler.
have.
I started to say that.
Yeah, that little story. I think that's kind of interesting to hear. First of all, I think we should say that the show is at a well-known place in Palm Springs called Blame It on Midnight. And you do have to make reservations for the Judy Show. And so if people are interested in, and I'm sure you are going to see that, the number is 760-323-1200. So we want to make sure that people understand they do need a reservation to get in.
It is a dinner show, so
Yes.
reservations. The show starts at 8, so we recommend reservations by 7 o'clock,
Right.
so that most of the service is over by the time of the show.
Yeah, and the cover charge is very reasonable. It's only $10.
It is only $10,
Yeah,
and other theaters I've played, tickets have gone as much as $75.
Oh
so
yeah,
it's a deal.
that's great, and you get some good stuff to eat too. So okay, let's get back to the heckler show.
Well, one show I had a woman who, after about the third or fourth number as Judy, stood up and said, "You're not Judy Garland."
Oh,
And she pulled a gun out of her purse.
you're kidding.
No, she wanted to. I mean, the whole. It was complete. It was complete uproar.
A lot of diving under tables.
Oh, it was
and-
insane.
Oh,
and
my
I just,
gosh.
I ran off stage, and of course, security took her out. I had to explain to her. I tried to talk with her dialogue. Judy
Yeah.
Garland is dead.
Right.
She has been for 20, 30 years, whatever at that time. But then security got rid of her, and I came out as Billie Holiday, and I sang "What the World Needs Now Is Love, Sweet Love."
Did that happen here? The Blame It on Midnight?
It
Was-
happened in Chicago.
Oh well, Chicago.
Yeah,
well,
she was probably just,
little off.
yeah,
Yeah.
she was just a mob mom or
Yeah.
something.
Just mom. Well, that doesn't mean that all moms carry guns.
Mob
Oh,
mom.
a mob mom.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
Chicago,
okay.
so.
All right. Is that the only time you? I mean, that's a pretty bad incident. But is the typical stuff more like loud people and?
Loud people just
Yeah.
yelling a little bit and stuff. And usually Well, if Judy's pretty soft-spoken, so she doesn't intervene too much, but then Pearl Bailey or Betty Davis straightens them out pretty quickly.
Does that quiet them down?
Usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah.
Often I'll just have Judy point to the sign and say, "Could you read the sign?" And they say, "The Judy Show." I'm like, "Okay, shut up." No.
Yeah, well, the audience is a lot of fun, really, and they
Yeah.
have a lot of fun with you, and you have a lot of fun with them. And I really think that now I understand. I think your psychology background really does help you there.
I think so. And, the audience is really another character in the show.
Absolutely.
Everybody participates, and it's fun. I mean, you don't have to get up on stage, but it really is fun.
But some of them do get up on stage, and
Some
they have a
do.
ball, and the audience loves that part of it. And like I said, there's quite a mix of people there. There's women that come, and there's guys that come along, and then there's couples and all ages, and everyone really enjoys that. Do you have? I know this is like asking who's your favorite child or whatever, but who's your favorite character? Do you have one that you play?
Well, I think and this is true, I love them all for different reasons, probably. So, it depends on the night. If I'm feeling a little sassy, Betty Davis,
Right.
usually tops the list on that one because she's just a killer.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
Killer diller.
Yeah. Oh, she must have been something in her day. That's for sure.
I wish I could have met her, but
Oh, well, yeah. Wouldn't it have been fun if you could have met all of them?
yeah.
Let's go back and talk about your Thursday night thing also, because you have such a fabulous voice. I mean, you are so great as these characters, but as I told you, Michael, have a wonderful, wonderful voice, and you have a couple of CDs out. And the collection is really good. And you play on Thursday nights, starting at 7:30. And this is in the lounge area. And people don't need reservations for that, right? This
They
is
do
also
not,
at
yeah.
Blame It on Midnight. Do you think of yourself as a jazz singer?
I do. I tend to sing. I just love the old standards, and I tend to stay a little more in the swing version of the standards, which is all a part of jazz. It's not hardcore
Yeah.
hardcore jazz.
Yeah.
Excuse
Yeah.
me. So
And it is quite a mix that you do. And my favorite one is
if you were wondering,
If You Were Wondering. Yes. And you
song by Peter Allen.
By Peter Allen. And that is such a beautiful song. And knowing that it's written by Peter Allen, it makes it even more beautiful. But again, do you have any favorite singer whose songs you like to sing?
Well, I have to tell you, contemporary Michael Bublé is
Oh, isn't he
phenomenal.
great?
Mel Torme,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed. Pearl Bailey is a female vocalist that I think was far underrated as a singer. She
Absolutely.
was acknowledged more as a comedian,
Right.
and she really was a wonderful singer.
Okay, well, that's really good to hear. Now, your last show is what date?
May 2nd.
May 2nd, and then where do you go from here?
We go to Algonquin, Maine.
Algonquin, Maine.
It's actually
Ogunquit,
Yeah.
Ogunquit, Maine. Okay, and when are you coming back then to the desert?
Well, we're booked in Algonquin through Labor Day, so we'll be back in October.
Well, that's great, but that's going to be a long time to wait to hear and see you, so
Well,
we want to get everybody there.
Come out to the East Coast. You're coming, aren't you?
Oh, sure. I'm going to get on the next plane. But, Michael, I'm certainly going to be seeing you here, and it was great having you on the show, and continued good luck with you. And when you do come back, I'm going to have you on again. And in the meantime, we're going to have to take a little break. This is Jacqueline Bachar.